I mean, dude, there's like 10 or 12 suppressors in there, and I don't know how many, 40 guns? 50 guns? I mean, it's kind of like Pokemon, gotta have them all.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I would take them and I would tweak them. The SIG MPX became an SBR. The PTR became an SBR. The 516 became an SBR.
Do you know where your buddy is?
Charlie?
Yes.
He shot him.
He shot him?
Who did?
Todd Kohlhepp shot Charlie Carver 3 times in the chest, wrapped him in a blue tarp, put him in the bucket of the tractor, locked me down here, and I never seen him again.
Okay.
Criminals born, or are they formed? This seems to be a very easy question to answer, but yet it's very difficult because when we look at criminals like Todd Kohlhepp, this question gets deeper and unimaginably hard to answer. But who really is Todd Kohlhepp? Let's get right to it. Todd Kohlhepp, a serial killer and rapist, was born on March the 7th, 1971 in Florida, USA. His upbringing was far from ideal as he bounced around between caregivers after his parents divorced when he was only 2 years old. Interestingly, some parallels can be drawn between Kohlhepp and another notorious serial killer, Edmund Kemper. Both faced a difficult childhood, with Edmund surrendering to the authorities because he grew tired of killing. Well, that's a story for another time. Todd's mother remarried to another man who had constant battles and conflicts with Todd, and therefore he was sent to his grandfather, who was also said to be abusive towards him. It felt like life wasn't very much working for Todd. Due to this harsh upbringing, his capacity for love seems to have been betrayed and buried, leaving him filled with rage. He struggled to make friends as his family moved frequently, and his violent tendencies set him apart from other children, and surprisingly, even animals weren't spared his rage either.
Todd liked to talk about himself. Todd liked to talk about the things that he had. He was consumed with things that he could purchase with the money that he was making.
However, a bad childhood doesn't give anyone the right to hurt others. This is shown by his first act of violence, killing his fish with bleach. His mum's fear, having to lock him in his room and her own bedroom, highlights the seriousness of his behavior. By the age of 9, things were so bad that he was sent to a mental hospital. There, doctors worried about his violent and sexual thoughts. Eventually, even his father couldn't handle him, making the decision to not keep him at his home. But at just the tender age of 14, he decided to turn his violent and sexual dreams into reality and reported his first real crime. He aspired to be in a relationship with the 14-year-old girl who lived next door. One evening, when she was watching her 2 younger brothers, Kohlhepp came over to her house with a revolver. He pointed the gun at her there, made her return to his house, tied her up, and attacked her sexually.
Mostly, I just want to say thank you to everyone for all the prayers and all the work you put into looking for me. If it wasn't for everyone out there, I don't think I would be here today.
When he told the little girl to leave his home, he warned her not to contact the police, threatening harm to her siblings if she did. Despite his threats, the little girl bravely called the police, leading to Todd's arrest when he was just 14. Surprisingly, while in custody, Todd admitted to the crime but attributed his actions to his parents' divorce, expressing anger towards his father for leaving and moving across the country. During his evaluation, psychiatric experts found that Todd had a borderline personality disorder and an IQ of 118, which is above average, and surprised the evaluators. The judge in his case acknowledged Todd's intelligence, noting that while he had academic potential, he was behaviorally and emotionally dangerous and unlikely to be rehabilitated. A probation officer remarked that Todd seemed to feel entitled, as if the world owed him something. Although only 15 years old, Todd was tried as an adult. He pleaded guilty to a serious charge in exchange for a reduced sentence. As a result, Todd was sentenced to 15 years in prison and would have to register as an offender upon his release.
You know, it's just horrible that somebody could do that to this poor girl, and then they showed the picture and I just paused the television and was like, honey, that was our realtor. Oh my goodness.
But that didn't stop him from committing more crime. Once released in 2001 after spending 14 years behind bars, he moved back to South Carolina. While in prison, he earned a bachelor's degree in computer science. He later obtained another degree in business administration and marketing and a real estate license by lying about his past. His real estate business grew rapidly, allowing him to buy numerous properties and even obtain a private pilot license. Although he appeared successful on the surface, he remained fixated on violence. On November the 5th, 2003, 2 years after his release and successful entry into the real estate business, Todd decided to buy a motorcycle and visited Superbike Motorsports. Despite his interest, he didn't know how to properly ride a motorbike. After purchasing one, he returned to the store to ask for a refund. When the store staff mocked him for this, he reacted violently, fatally shooting 4 people, including the owner Scott Ponder, manager Brian Lucas, mechanic Chris Sherbert, and Ponder's mother, Beverly Guy.
Collateral damage is not cool. I actually wasn't meaning to hit the mom. I prefer not to shoot women if I can. I'm going to refuse to shoot a kid. Finally, all 4 showed up. From the sound, it sounded like there was nobody else there. Proceeded to go to the back mechanics area, walked up, put out the Beretta, put the safety off, shot the mechanic twice. He hit the ground. When I realized he was not moving, he was not going to proceed. All of a sudden I had 3 people in front of me. Mom was the closest, and I shot her 2-3 times in the chest.
The bodies of the victims were discovered by a customer the next day, but shockingly the case went unsolved for 13 years. During this time, Todd remained free and capable of committing more crimes. Todd frequently visited a waffle restaurant near his home, where he met Megan Leigh McCraw-Coxey. She felt so uncomfortable around him that she asked a male cook to take his order whenever he came in. Eventually, Megan and her husband agreed to work at Todd's property, likely due to financial needs. However, just a few days later, on December the 22nd, 2015, they were reported missing. Similarly, Carla Brown and Charles Carver were lured to his property with the promise of employment and reported missing on August 31st, 2016. Months later, Todd's criminal activities would finally be exposed.
Watch out, y'all move. I got it, watch out.
Joey. Sheriff's officer. I need to what? Back up here. Just one. Are you okay?
Grab what? Go.
Do you have any weapons? Coming through, okay? What's your name? What's your name? Right here.
Lauren. Gotcha. All right.
Just a girl.
Just a girl.
How are you, honey?
This is bolt cutters. This is our best. He's a paramedic.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, we're gonna get you out of there. Okay.
Just hang loose for me.
Anybody got? I need a handcuff key.
On November 3rd, 2016, police tracked Brown and Carver's last known cell phone activity to Kohlhepp's property. Hearing banging and screaming, they realized someone might still be alive. Following the noises, they found a shipping container. When they opened it, they discovered Brown chained up inside. She told the police she witnessed Kohlhepp shoot her boyfriend. Carver's car was found partially hidden on Kohlhepp's land. Brown said that Carver was buried somewhere on the property along with other graves her captor had mentioned.
Do you know where your buddy is?
Charlie.
Yes.
He shot him.
Who did?
Todd Kohlhepp shot Charlie Carver 3 times in the chest, wrapped him in a blue tarp, put him in the bucket of the tractor, locked me down here, and I never seen him again. He says he's dead and buried. He says there's several bodies dead and buried out here, and he says that the dogs will be ruined if they go looking because there's red pepper.
Brown revealed the horror she had endured for over 65 days, and after Carver was killed, she was chained by her neck with her hands bound behind her back. Kohlhepp told her she would live if she complied with his demands, which were of a deeply disturbing nature. Following her rescue, law enforcement tracked down Kohlhepp and arrested him. Police excavated his property and uncovered the bodies of Charles Carver, Megan Leigh McCraw-Coxey, and Johnny Coxey. Brown also told detectives that he bragged about the motorcycle store murders and boasted of being a serial killer and a mass murderer. Then on May the 26th, 2017, Kohlhepp pleaded guilty to 7 counts of murder, 2 counts of kidnapping, and 1 count of criminal sexual assault. In exchange for his plea, he was spared the death penalty and instead received 7 consecutive life sentences without the possibility of parole. That's a wrap for today's video. We want you to answer the questions we asked in the beginning. What do you think about these criminals being born or formed? Was Todd Kohlhepp a born criminal or not? If you enjoyed this video and want to watch more fascinating topics like this, click on the video that's popping up on your screen. Until then, take care and goodbye.